Gigantic.
Hey, it is November 6th, 2024. And what is everybody talking about in the world? Well, they're talking about NXT on a Wednesday. Oh my God, the Wednesday Night Wars are back. I think some other wrestling promotion doing a TV show tonight. I don't know. I can't keep up with it all. But NXT was in the ECW Arena tonight for a little bit of a retro vibe. Great retro opening in the ECW style. Here we are on the CW now for over a month. How is everybody feeling about this? I want NXT to get back to the variety feel, these mini PLE feels. It's exhausting because if everything is a big show, no pun intended, then nothing is a big show, right? I mean, it's good that they're stacking it, but give me a couple more little story development matches. Give me a couple, smaller things. Give me some weird vignettes. What's Andre Chase up to? We got to answer these questions. Bigfoot Sneakerhead saying he likes it. Hey, I'm not saying it was bad. I'm just saying that at a certain point, it's gonna feel weird when they go back to the old NXT formula. If they go back, I don't know. It's good though. Look, everybody. Baron Corbin was let go from WWE, or they're not renewing his contract, and I'm still bummed about this. Baron Corbin, one of the breakout stars with everything that's been given to him, pinned Roman Reigns clean, retired Kurt Angle, had the bum-ass Corbin angle, the Constable angle, the happy angle. He did so much, and WWE said, "No, we're good. We're not renewing your contract." It's just strange. Not that you should ever get too attached to anyone in WWE, because it is a business, and unless you are a top star, there are no guarantees. And even then, are there any guarantees in life? Life is a mystery, as they say. So I don't know. I'll miss Baron Corbin. Yes, the Wolf Dogs were amazing. He did not everything knocked it out of the park, but he did pretty good with almost everything that they gave him. Even the failed Money in the Bank cash-in. I don't know. I'm going to miss Baron Corbin. I hope he goes on to wrestle in other places and does more. Because I think, underrated comedic actor also. And I know with wrestling, it's like, oh, the intensity. Do you believe it? I sometimes think if you can do deadpan comedy as a wrestler as well as he did, that really, really sells me on talent's abilities. Yes, Indy Hartwell gone as well. Tegan Knox. Weird little mini cuts, right? Anyhow, NXT tonight in Philadelphia. What happened? What happened tonight? Let's run it down. Let's talk about some things. Let's get into it. Lola Vice versus Jada Parker had a hardcore match to open the show tonight with Dawn Marie as a special guest referee. And Jada Parker is getting some push here, which is funny because I would have said I was at Battleground in the UFC Apex, and it really seemed like Lola Vice was on the precipice of a major push, and she's getting TV time and she's getting storylines, but I do not feel like Lola Vice is getting the wins that she should be getting. I think she's exceptionally talented, very likable, very charismatic, and there's things to say that Jada Parker isn't. I'm just, sometimes you have to pick with the talent of who you think in your heart of hearts is going to go over in a feud, and I would have said Lola Vice had this, but Jada Parker got the win. But hey, it's wrestling, so is anything really ever over? Rob Van Dam was backstage talking to Kalani Jordan, and Wesley attacking RVD. I mean, fine. Rob Van Dam did okay in this promo segment. It was just, if I had to guess talent that RVD would be hanging out with in NXT, wouldn't have been Kalani. So props to them for that unique pairing. Then we had Javon Evans versus Wesley right after that. And wouldn't you know it, Rob Van Dam cost Wesley that match. Javon Evans, man, this kid, they love this guy. I feel like, I feel personal responsibility for helping to discover Javon Evans, watching him on Level Up with the 5 other people who watch NXT Level Up and saying Javon Evans is a future superstar. I feel like I was on the hype train long before everyone else. Even with the distraction, getting the win over Wesley, they are really, really high on this kid. It's deserved. But I'm almost worried sometimes that you could peak too soon if they don't have a storyline for you. So we'll see what happens. But good win over Wes. And it was fun. And that's, to what Goodfella 1422 is saying, it was not perfect, but a 10-10 show tonight and lots of fun. It was a lot of fun. And yes. Ricky Sinclair, Javon Evans is bouncy. It's, I never would have guessed bouncy would have gotten over as a catchphrase, but props to him for making that happen. Let's talk about Ava having announcements tonight. Deadline coming in December. And with that, we're going to have Iron Survivor. Do you guys like Iron Survivor? Isn't that weird that NXT brought back War Games? It's interesting to me that Iron Survivor has kind of become the signature NXT match now that War Games graduated back up to the main roster. It's cool. It's going to be good, and they're doing a lot of heavy lifting with it. Yeah. In fact, I think, it's the women's one is going to, sorry, spoiler alert, the women's Iron Survivor match is going to steal the show at Deadline. That is going to be the match of the night. It's got to be. Men's roster is good, but yeah, I'm like the embarrassment of riches of what they can do for the women's Iron Survivor match. I'm very excited about that. Trick Williams and Bubba Ray Dudley took on Ethan Page and Ridge Holland. And this was interesting. I thought that Ethan Page and Ridge Holland won this match. Normally, with the ECW tie, you would have thought that they would have stood tall, but they did stand tall at the end. They got it back a bit, and they put them somebody went through a table. Page went through the table. So the crowd got their moment, but it's interesting that Ethan and Ridge got the win. I was surprised by that, but it was fun. Yes, as Goodfellas saying, I was not expecting Trick to get paid. It just doesn't make sense. You have the nostalgia talent there. You have Bubba Ray. Hey, did you know he hosts a radio show called Busted Open? Last week, that was a bit over the top how he was pushing it. But this match was fun. It was good. I think, tables went through. What do you do with Ridge Holland and Ethan Page? Are they a tag team now? Is that the route they're going? Is Ethan Page the top heel in NXT? Will Andre Chase or perhaps Thea Hale ever get their revenge on Ridge Holland for just destroying and burying Chase Hugh? Inquiring minds want to know. But Nunzio and Tony Mamaluke took on Tony D. Nunzio versus Tony D'Angelo for the North American Championship. This was fun. This was silly. Tony D'Angelo got the win. They hugged. Everybody gets along. It's very fraternal. It's family. It's good. But this is where I was just kind of like, okay, this is an exhibition nostalgia match, right? It was fun though. Alicia A, what's up? Fernando Perez, Jonathan Lyman, Brand, Justin Toner, Goodfella 1422, Bigfoot Sneakerhead, Ricky Sinclair. We got the whole gang here. Mr. X, one and only. Thank you for joining us tonight. So Matt Morgan got reelected mayor of Longwood. Had a great night. He's out as Victory Party tonight. Was not able to watch NXT. I know he's going to watch it on DVR. He's going to text me. I know he's going to text me and say, oh, that 10-woman match was incredible. I could watch these girls go all day. Did you see what Old Girl did in that spot there? This is my Matt Morgan impression. I can't do the voice, but I can do the Matt Morgan isms. But yeah, good for Matt. He's doing good in the city of Longwood. Yeah. Hope everyone's having an okay week. I know. Anyhow, let's focus on the positive. Hope everybody had a good Halloween. It seemed like there was a weird phenomenon this year. Did anyone else get zero trick-or-treaters this year for Halloween? I looked on Facebook, many people I know, not just in Nevada where I live, but in California, in Florida, in Texas, in Massachusetts, people saying, tonight I got no trick-or-treaters. Is this because Halloween was on a Thursday? Did that screw it all up? We had a large bowl of candy. At a certain point, we just started eating the candy. No one came to the door. I was disappointed. Ricky Sinclair saying none there. Oh, but Fernando saying the most ever in Florida. Interesting. Well, there. It's not that widespread. I thought that was interesting. But overall, oh, J.R. Smith saying had one trick-or-treater. Wow. Savannah, Georgia. Just the one. J.R. Smith, did you give that one trick-or-treater like all the candy? Did you just say take the bowl home with you? Enjoy? I did not dress up really for Halloween. Well, we saw last the weekend before Flobo. I was doing a SmackDown with Flobo. Flobo was just as the most famous breakdancer in the world, Ray Gun. So I put on my pink B-boy outfit. And it was good. Ricky saying NXT was a better show tonight between AEW and NXT. That is very, very interesting. How's AEW doing? You guys know I don't watch AEW. You guys know I don't watch Raw. I watch SmackDown because I cover it at the old place. I watch NXT because I cover it here. And I have to say, I enjoy the wrestling. I watch more when I'm not watching all the wrestling. And I know that disappoints some people. And I know some people might say, Glenn, you want to cover wrestling and talk about a show. How can you talk about NXT and how great it is if you're not watching TNA, if you're not watching AEW, if you're not watching Raw? How can you properly compare NXT? And it's like, well, I really like NXT. I really enjoy it. I think the variety of talent showcased is very good. I think that the matches and promos are very enjoyable. And speaking of promos, can we talk about Nikita Lyons tonight? That everyone predicted it correctly about her having an alliance with Obafemi, attacking Adriana Rizzo. Adriana is going to face Nikita Lyons next week. But Nikita cut this heel promo that I thought was succinct. It was to the point. It was persuasive. It was very well done. And I am here for the Nikita Lyons heel turn. Although I think she'll always be an anti-hero to the masses. Everyone's rooting for her. But I'm looking forward to this feud with Adriana Rizzo. And man, I hope Nikita gets something good after this. Maybe she plays a bit of a spoiler in Deadline in the Iron Survivor match. Who knows? But I thought this was a really good promo. I mean, look, we've talked about her journey before, going back to her first promo. I think in her early promos, they tried to throw too much into it, right? They did the classic NXT thing of like, you don't have one gimmick, you got 5 gimmicks. And we're going to just stick with the one that works. But I thought tonight this was very well done. And the nunchucks. Now, Goodfella 1422 is saying the nunchucks still. Do you guys know that the nunchucks in Kung Fu and the martial arts are a warm-up tool to test your agility, your hand-eye, or your coordination, your dexterity? It's to get you going. You're not actually supposed to go into battle with nunchucks. So when she comes out there, it's not like Carmen Petrovich where she has a sword and you're like, yo, why is Carmen not like going Samurai Deli with this sword and busting things up? Because I wondered that first. I'm like, why is Nikita Lyons not attacking people with the nunchucks? And I read about them finally after the nunchucks being a fixture of my life for the past 40 years because I grew up in the 80s. And let me tell you, in the 80s as a child, we were obsessed with ninjas and the martial arts. And yeah, finally in 2024, learned the nunchucks for warming up, not for battle. It explains a lot. Anyhow, let's talk about the main event tonight, which is the reason everybody tuned in. Reason everybody was watching tonight. And that was for this banger of a match of Roxanne Perez, Cora Jade, and Fatal Influence versus Jordan Grace, Julia Stephanie, Vicaire Zaria, and Kalani Jordan in a 10-woman tag. Everybody got their S in. Everybody did. Everybody made it happen. Cool intros. cool promos leading up to this match. I mean, who's the biggest superstar? Chat, in this 10-woman match, in the biggest superstars of NXT. You tell me who's the biggest female superstar in the match. Who is the future world champion? Who is the merch mover, the main roster WrestleMania main eventer? Give me your number one pick of the 10 women in this match. Very curious to see how everybody breaks this down. While you answer that, Bigfoot Sneaker at $4.99 saying, question, do you believe that WWE should do an all-women PLE? I mean, NXT's women's division against SmackDown and Raw. What do you think, Glenn? Well, let me tell you, I was at Evolution, and that was an amazing pay-per-view, an amazing PLE. I would love it if they did a second Evolution, and it was a little bit more like Survivor Series, some inner roster rivalry, some one-night-only matchups. I think they could do some really cool stuff with it. It's interesting, though. I think that as much as people have said NXT needs to do a women's only show, there needs to be an Evolution too. I think that HBK low key has turned NXT into a female dominant wrestling show, right? I feel like these are the matches that the women many weeks have more airtime between promos and matches. And these are the matches everyone's talking about. I think Bubba and Trick versus Ethan and Ridge tonight was a fun match, but that's not the headline. Everyone's talking about this 10-woman tag, right? This was a standout. So Bigfoot Sneakerhead, I'm with you, but I think this is the better way to do it. I think that a one night only would be very special. I think you could do some great inter-brand matchups, but look at what HBK is doing. He's making NXT the women's show without even announcing it. He's pulling a Beyonce and just dropping it rather than hyping it. And it's a beautiful thing. Okay. Stand out of the match. Goodfella 1422 says Zarya. Fernando Perez says Cora. Justin Toner says Zarya and Stephanie Vaquer look the best. Julia not far behind. And Roxanne, of course. Justin, you chose 4 out of the 10 women in this match. Ricky saying Stephanie. I'm gonna say, look, I think Jordan Grace is signing with NXT. And I thought she came across. And there's no wrong answer tonight. Okay, maybe I might question if you chose 3 of the 10 women in this match. I might be like, maybe are they like really? And they're not. No, not the faction I'm thinking of. I'm saying 3. You could be like, well, are they the biggest superstar in this match? No, but yeah, Justin, Jordan Grace is absolutely coming to WWE, no doubt about it. Humble 85 staying Stephanie and Kalani. Bigfoot saying Stephanie Vaquer. I thought Zarya looked great. Stephanie Vaquer, I think, has amazing star power, but I'm going to say maybe Jordan, because we don't see Jordan Grace on NXT as much, and it still feels like this special Multiverse of Madness crossover. I'm going to still say, like, man, I pop for Jordan every time. And by the way, if you've never seen it, Mr. Matt Morgan, TNA alumni, TNA legend, the Blueprint Matt Morgan, interviewed Jordan Grace on this very channel about 2 months ago. Be sure to check that out. Go into the Gigantic Pop archives. And in fact, if you like what we're doing here, please like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend. Not many people are covering NXT. This is what, NXT, you guys know this. NXT, I am ride or die for NXT, and I have been doing NXT coverage. I think we're tied with, for me personally, I think I'm tied with Fightful for the longest running NXT coverage. I've always been an advocate of NXT. NXT is what got me back into wrestling after the last season of Tough Enough that aired. And, let the other NXT fans know that there's a podcast out there covering NXT. Next Tuesday, I am traveling, so I will not be here, unfortunately. But the week after that, me and Matt Morgan back together again, and maybe we'll bring some other familiar faces into the mix. Let us know who you want to see, what you want to see, and we'll make it all work. But let's talk about the results of this match. It was very interesting to me that Zarya got the pin. It's kind of a sleeper, right? Kind of stealthy, because look at what happened when it was like, oh, Julia's coming into NXT. She's going to be the next NXT champion. They're going to push her to the moon. Stephanie Vaquer is also coming in. She too could be the NXT champion. They're going to push her to the moon. And then Zarya gets these promos, and you think, maybe she's going to go after the North American Championship, but no, she's getting the pin tonight. Maybe. And by the way, they spent more effort on her entrance. I feel like her promos, her vignettes. Maybe Zarya of the three. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Maybe Zarya is the sleeper, and she's going to be the one that ends up getting this. I mean, maybe when the Fatal 4-Way happens between Cora, Roxanne, Stephanie, and Julia, maybe Zarya comes in and just wreck shop, takes it all for herself. And yeah, shout out Alicia. Shout out to all the Wrestling Inc. people that followed us over here. I really enjoy talking about this show on a weekly basis, and I think that I get it. NXT is a smaller audience than Raw and SmackDown. It makes sense. And the move to the CW hasn't helped with NXT, right? Because if you're a ride or die NXT faithful and you live on the West Coast, how can you watch this live? You have to resort to questionable means to tune into this. And so that further limits the audience for the after show. But I'm happy to be doing it here on Gigantic Pop. Happy to be hanging out with you all. I know we're keeping this kind of short because it's me solo, and I feel like a madman, like a middle-aged Andy Rooney, just rambling about the kids today and the rock music. But Zarya getting that pin tonight. The baby faces standing tall. Great end to a great show. It was very entertaining. The ECW nostalgia I thought was fun. They leaned on it as much as you think they would. It was kind of a cool crossover. It's kind of like going to retro night, like when you go to old school night at the baseball game. Kind of had that feel. I like when they do stuff like that. I didn't know Wink was covering AEW right now. That's pretty funny. Shout out to the Wink AEW crew, and I'll still be on there Fridays doing SmackDown. Not this Friday, but next Friday. Hey, Becky Lynch is doing something at Vulture Fest in LA. Vulture Fest, I was debating whether to go or not this year. I've gone in years past. I went one year when they did a Party Down reunion, and they had a really cool panel about The Good Place. And yeah, it's panel. You go and they, talk to celebs, and you sit there in the audience. You get to get up and ask a question. And Becky Lynch is doing a panel about her book, about her career at Vulture Fest coming up next weekend in Los Angeles. And she said she's going to talk about what's coming next in her career. And part of me wanted to go just for that. There's also a Kevin Smith Dogma panel that looks pretty interesting. There's enough stuff that I'm like, maybe I should go. Maybe I should drive out on Saturday. Maybe I should make this work. But I don't know. Yeah, but I'm looking forward to seeing what Becky Lynch announces at this, or what she hints at. I'm sure the dirt sheets will have it immediately, and we'll be talking about it. I'm looking forward to seeing what Becky does next. I think that's going to be really good. What else is going on? I got to get back into the TV. I haven't been watching the TV. Watched a couple movies, but I have not been watching the TV lately. Need to watch Agatha all along. Need to catch up on that. I feel like there's still too much television. Like everything got canceled, but there's still too much TV somehow. I don't know how that works. Yeah, things are good. This is funny. My podcasting partner on Game Boys to Men, the show I do about the early 90s video game industry on Jeff Gerstmann's Patreon. Jeff Gerstmann does like 4 hours just talking solo multiple times a week. I don't know how he does it. This is crazy. This is only like the 4th or 5th time in the 8 years I've been doing this that I've actually done like a true solo podcast. And I just feel like a madman. I feel like I'm just ranting and rambling, giving you all the news. Goodfellow1422 says Penguin is brilliant. Love Slow Horses on Apple TV. I'll have to check that out. I've also heard Shrinking is good. I still haven't watched Severance yet. I've been watching YouTube old commercial channels. Shout out to 80s Commercial Vault on YouTube, the ultimate background channel. And hey, I'm gonna wrap this up because it's early here on the West Coast. Maybe I want to watch a movie, take my mind off the world. But NXT was fun tonight. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I'm off next week. Maybe, I don't think Matt's going to do something, but maybe, you never know. But hey, in 2 weeks, me and Matt Morgan, the triumphant return Thanks everyone for tuning in to Gigantic Pop. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, and I will see you all back here soon, everybody. Have a great rest of your week, and hey, try and do something nice for yourself. See you back here soon.